surprised that Mr. Burek is not here. He's usually, speaking of, thank you, Bill. Speaking of punctuality, he's very punctual. But the meeting was advertised to begin at 8:30. We have a quorum, so we're going to begin. And I hope Mr. Burek is okay. I haven't heard anything. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
There he is. We were just talking about you. It was all good. It's okay. Take your time. We'll give Brian a minute or two to get settled in. Certainly. You just say when you're ready. Okay, thank you so much. And I believe the recorder is running.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome. We will call to order this meeting of the Lawrence County Salary Board. Today is Tuesday, December 12 of 2023. And as we begin with the opening procedures, I do want to ask if you have any type of an electronic communication device, if you please put it on silent or vibrate. We'd appreciate that courtesy. And want to note a few things for the record, that this meeting was appropriately advertised by way of a legal advertisement in the Saturday edition of the Newcastle News. So we've met the legal responsibility as far as the public notice. I want to remind everyone to review the fact that the county code stipulates that there be a salary board that consists of 4 permanent members, the 3 elected commissioners and the elected county controller, and that when any elected official has a matter to bring before salary board, that person becomes a temporary voting member of the board and has the authority to vote on matters pertinent to their particular office. And we'll have that happen today, as you'll see. The salary board's role is to create positions, eliminate positions, and set rates of pay. This board does not do any hiring or promoting or demoting or firing. Our role is pretty well established. So as a result, as we have our discussions today, we will be talking about positions, not the people holding those positions. Reason being that it's very possible that one individual a week from now might decide to retire or hit the lottery or what have you and not be here in a week. So our role is to talk solely about positions. In order for us to establish our quorum, I'll ask for a roll call of the permanent members of the salary board, please.
Controller Pressifine.
Here.
Commissioner Spielvogel.
Here.
Commissioner Burek.
Present.
Commissioner Vogler.
Here. So all 4 permanent members are present. I do want to also note for the record that the salary board met in executive session on both November 27 and December 6. Next would be public comment. We always set aside time for the public to make comments. We ask that those comments be related to matters involving the salary board. I will note that the commissioners will be meeting after this meeting. So if you do have concerns that are more generally county related, you're welcome to come to that meeting. But let me open it up to see if anybody has any public comment relative to salary board matters. Hearing and seeing none, we will repeat this opportunity prior to adjournment. Also, for my 3 colleagues here at the table, we do have the minutes of the May 23, 2023 meeting of the salary board. I'll give you folks time if you need to look them over, and whenever you're ready, I can take a motion to adopt those minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
Mr. Prestafine moves and Mr. Burek seconds for approval of the minutes. Are there any concerns or discussion? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call, please.
Controller Pressifine.
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel.
Yes.
Commissioner Burek.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. That takes us to the resolutions, Roman numeral 4. The first 4 resolutions fall under the jurisdiction of the courts. President Judge Motto now becomes a voting member. Judge, we do have a chair up here if you'd like to sit up front with us.
No, thank you.
Okay. And I'll make that offer to the other,
You saw it was that small chair, huh? I would have moved.
He wants a break from sitting up above, so look at that.
I would have moved.
the courts have 4 matters to be brought today for our consideration. Vanessa, what was the first number of this document?
35.
Proposed resolution 35, and this is for discussion and possible approval of the base rate for the law clerk to be set at $55,000, and that the salary of the current occupied law clerk be increased by $10,000, and that the salary of the current joint courtroom law clerk be increased by $10,000. This resolution, if it is approved, will take effect on the 1st of January 2024, and the above listed positions would not receive the 2024 cost of living adjustment. Judge, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, you've read the resolution, so my motion would be to adopt this resolution, and if there's a second, then I'll give an explanation for it.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, really, the bottom line here is that we simply cannot attract and keep law clerks at a base rate of $45,000. That rate was set years ago, and really what really has brought this to a head is that one of our judges has been desperately seeking a law clerk since last June and had virtually no applications. Recently did get an application, interviewed that person, offered him the job, and then the person turned it down because Beaver County pays roughly about this amount of money that we're asking to go to. Assistant DAs, assistant PDs start out at 60, 61,000. These people are offered by law clerks are offered in terms of what they do. Judges rely heavily on them. Butler County pays 70,000. So we think from a judicial standpoint, and I know all of my judges, fellow judges feel very strongly about this, that this would be another.
Thank you, Judge. And when you did meet with us in executive session, you did point out the 3 neighboring counties, Mercer, Butler, and Beaver, what the rates of pay are for their respective law clerks. And as noted, as we stand here today, we are the lowest of the 4. By taking this action, if I'm not mistaken, please correct me if I'm wrong, we would be next to the lowest, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe that's correct.
Thank you. And I do want to also emphasize that, and this may be unique, that we have a situation where 2 of our judges are currently utilizing the services of 1 law clerk. And I'm sure that's not common throughout the Commonwealth.
I'm confident that doesn't exist anywhere in the United States of America. And I should mention that, I mean, it's a very unique set of circumstances, the uniqueness of the ability of this individual who prefers to be a law clerk and not in private practice. With his ability, if he's in private practice, he'd be in big loss somewhere making $500,000 a year. But he's unique, and I think the 2 judges he works for were able to do that. That savings is $40,000 or $50,000 a county, which more than makes up for the service.
Thank you, Judge. Commissioner Burek, do you have questions?
No questions. For all the reasons the judge enumerated, I'll be supporting the resolution.
Thank you, sir. Controller Crestafine?
No.
Commissioner Spillvogel?
No.
We have a motion and a second relative to proposed resolution 35. There are no other questions or concerns. I will request a roll call that would include President Judge Motto.
President Judge Motto,
Yes.
Controller Prestafine,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. The next 3, I'll note, deal with the following offices: the Adult Probation Office, the Juvenile Probation Office, and the Domestic Relations Office. And based on the county code, those 3 offices fall under the jurisdiction of the president judge. And as such, on these 3 matters, the president judge remains a voting member of this salary board. So proposed resolution 36 would deal with the Adult Probation Office. And Judge, I know you'll offer the explanation, but I know Jamie is here if you need him to talk as well. That's certainly appropriate. So I'll turn it over to you, Judge.
Okay, well, the resolution reads, whereas the Chief Adult Probation Officer is requesting a reorganization of his office to include a third level of promotion. Now therefore be it resolved by the Lawrence County Salary Board that the structure of the Adult Probation Office shall include 12 positions, each of Probation Officer 1, Probation Officer 2, and Probation Officer 3. At no time shall the Adult Probation Office exceed 12 employees total as either a Probation Officer 1, Probation Officer 2, and/or Probation Officer 3. Salaries will be paid as per the collective bargaining agreement with Teamsters Local 261. The resolution will take effect upon the successful completion of a memorandum of understanding between the Teamsters Local 261 and the County of Lawrence, entering the Probation Officer 3 into the current contract. So I would make that in the form of that motion.
Thank you, Judge. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Burek. Judge?
Well, of course, this arose out of collective bargaining, as the resolution indicates, but the purpose of it is certainly not to add any positions, and that resolution makes it clear. But we have some officers who have worked so hard and have been worked so long in their positions that it's felt that they deserve some special consideration in terms of pay. And I would point out that we have vacant positions in this office that we haven't filled. And our ability not to fill them is really because of the expertise of these certain individuals who would qualify for compensation at this level. So they've more than earned their ability to justify the cost of this addition through collective bargaining. So Jamie, I don't know if you want to add anything to that?
No, Judge, you did very well. We're trying to entice people to stay. Unfortunately, in today's environment, it's very easy for people to leave. For those individuals that we've invested time and money and knowledge, that's invaluable. We'd like to go and establish this third level of promotion right here to say thank you, and we do acknowledge what you've done.
Thank you both, gentlemen. I think it's worth noting, and you've already seen with this proposal and the previous one, and I think you're going to see it with a lot of these proposals. But given today's economic environment with the spike in inflation in the last few years, which we find as a county organization, we're competing not only with the private sector, which has a great deal more flexibility and ability to offer higher wages, but we're also competing with other counties and other governmental entities who quite honestly do pay better than we do. And this is certainly an example of that. Controller Prestipine, do you have any questions for the judge or Jamie?
I do not.
Thank you. Commissioner Spielvogel?
No questions, just, again, like you said, Dan, there's a lot going on here today, and it's a sign of the times that I remember it used to be that, you go to work for the county, the benefits are exceptional, and the salary is not as good as you might find in the private sector. However, those benefits are far outweigh that. Well, now the tide is turning, and you have a younger workforce and people that, are looking for that higher wage. And like you said, Jamie, it's imperative that we keep the senior staff members that we have. And so I would definitely be in support of this.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Burek.
I concur with both of your comments. To recruit and retain good employees for the county, we do need to adjust many of these salaries. So I'll take that a blanket statement for many of the resolutions we'll address today, but I support the request.
Thank you. Judge or Jamie, anything else before we take a roll call?
No, thank you.
Okay, Vanessa, if you would please call the roll and include the president judge.
President Judge Mardo,
Yes.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes,
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Burek,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I should note, as we proceed, when your matter is concluded, if you have to move along, we understand. I know you're all busy people. You're welcome to stay for part of the meeting, the whole meeting, but again, once your matter is addressed, you do need to move along. We truly understand. The next proposed resolution would be number 37, This involves the juvenile probation office, and this falls under the jurisdiction of the president judge. I will also note that Pat Micco, the director of that office, is with us as well. But Judge Motto, I'll turn it over to you.
This mirrors the resolution we just passed for adult probation, on the same situation in juvenile. And I'll read the resolution. Whereas the chief juvenile probation officer is requesting a reorganization of his office to include a third level of promotion. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Lawrence County Salary Board that the structure of the juvenile probation office shall include 6 positions each. Probation officer 1, probation officer 2, and probation officer 3. At no time shall the juvenile probation office exceed 6 employees total as either a probation officer 1, probation officer 2, and/or probation officer 3. Salary shall be paid as per the collective bargaining agreement with Teamsters Local 261. The resolution shall take effect upon the successful completion of a memorandum of understanding between the Teamsters Local 261 and the County of Lawrence, entering the probation officer 3 into the current contract. Really, everything I said relative to the resolution as affected the adult probation office could be said again here, but I would make one added comment. And I think a district attorney would agree with me too, that we've seen a real spike in juvenile crime. Not just the volume of it, but the seriousness of it. I mean, we're talking anything from homicide to aggravated assault to drug use, drug trafficking, juveniles being used for drug trafficking purposes. We need the expertise of the people who would be eligible for probation officer 3 treatment. If we would lose any of those people to the private sector, it'd be a serious, not just a sad loss, it'd be a serious loss in terms of being able to administer juvenile justice. Pat, would you like to add anything?
Real quick, thank you, Judge, for stepping forward. Thank you, Board of Commissioners, today for coming forward and having this day so that we can discuss this. I appreciate that. I'm not gonna talk long, so I know everyone's settling down in to say how long this is gonna be. But at any rate, it is the same thing.
I have the timer set. Go ahead.
They got the hook to pull me out this door.
We've done that for years, right? Let's clarify that, right?
But no, we seriously, we have come to a point where this is absolutely necessary to retain and recruit. As you said, that's actually the 2 words in grant and aid, 4 purpose areas. In all clarity too, I know I talked with Mr. Vanasco on the phone prior to this, and we bring in $158,000 a year, every year for grant to help cover things like that. Having the right bodies in the right place at the right time always allow us to recoup on, as Dave would know, which are now aligned under CYS, our Social Security income, when kids are placed, our 4E income, 4E admin claim income, and our domestic relations. We're able to stay on top of that to bring in probably an additional $20,000, $25,000 a year on top of that. So the money is in the grant and aid, and that's the purpose areas. One of the 4 purpose areas is retain and recruit. 2 of the 4 areas, I'm sorry, to retain competent, qualified staff, and to recruit and attract new and eligible staff. I know adults struggle with hiring just that, and I applaud Jamie for not moving forward and hiring someone that he's going to have a headache with later. And I think he's done a good job with that. So, and that's all really I have to say. I mean, the money we bring in is for that purpose, and I appreciate having the opportunity, and I appreciate you listening to the opportunity for this to take place.
Thank you, Mr. Micco. Before I turn it over to questions, Judge, anything else?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Spielvogel? Mr. Burek?
No.
Controller Prestipine?
Nothing.
Thank you. I believe the motion has been made and seconded for proposed resolution 37. If there are no other concerns or questions, I'll ask for a roll call, please.
President Judge Motto,
Yes.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes?
motion carries.
Thank you. And then We have two proposed resolutions, again, that fall under the judge's jurisdiction, and they both pertain to the Domestic Relations Office. We will start with the first one, which will be numbered number 38. Your Honor?
I'll read the resolution and make it in form of a motion. Whereas the Domestic Relations Director wishes to adjust the base rate of a position in the office, now therefore be it resolved by the Lawrence County Salary Board that the salary of the current Casey's administrator and the base rate of the position shall be set at $45,000. This resolution is effective January 1, 2024, and the above will not receive the 2024 call. So if there's a second, I'll give the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Spielvogel. Judge?
Okay, well, two important things. First of all, the reason for it is to have equity increases for this for the individual who will occupy the positions, keep in line with other administrative positions. But the good news about this is that 2/3 of the salary is paid for by the federal government. So it's an increase. The increase is roughly about $3,000, but 2/3 of that is paid by the federal government. So this only costs the county $1,000. But the reason for it is to keep the right spread between this type of position and those under it. And it's equivalent with what other administrative management people are making at this level.
Judge, do you wish to have Ms. Kelly offer any comments?
She probably doesn't want to, right?
He explained it all. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. That was Mary Kelly, who is the director of the Domestic Relations Office. Mr. Burek, do you have any questions for the judge or Mary? No questions. Thank you. Mr. Prestipine.
I do not.
Thank you. Commissioner Spielvogel.
No.
Thank you all. We have a motion on the floor for proposed resolution 38. I'll ask for a roll call that would include the president judge.
President Judge Motto,
Yes.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And then proposed resolution 39 is also related to the Office of Domestic Relations, which again falls under the judge's jurisdiction. Your Honor, I'll turn it over to you.
Very well, again, I'll read the resolution and make it in form of a motion. As the Domestic Relations Director wishes to adjust the base rate of a position in the office, now therefore be it resolved by the Lawrence County Salary Board that the salary of the current revenue administrator and the base rate of the position shall be set at $45,000. This resolution is effective January 1, 2024, and the above will not receive a 2024 call. So,
Second the motion.
okay, and of course, the reason for it is the same as the previous one, to have equity in position, like positions and have the right to work between people at this level and those that they supervise. But there's one added benefit to this one. The previous one was 2/3 paid for by the federal government. This one, maritime right is paid 100% by the federal government. So this increase, if I'm correct, will not cost the county anything.
Thank you, Judge. And
Am I right about that, Mary?
Yes, sir.
we'll note for the record that Ms. Kelly confirmed that statement. Mr. Prestipine, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
No.
Commissioner Buick?
No question.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. I'll ask for a roll call that would include the president judge.
President Judge Motto,
Yes.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Judge, I do want to note to both you and Mr. Acabone, I know I had a phone conversation with each of you separately yesterday. I have not had the opportunity yet to share that discussions or those two discussions with my colleagues, but I assure you that I will.
Thank you.
Thank you all. And again, for those of you whose actions we just took, you're welcome to stay, but if you do have to move along, we understand. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Wish you all a good day. The next item on the agenda would be proposed resolution 40. And this matter, and actually the next three matters, the Oak Park District Attorney Josh Lamacusa. Mr. Lamacusa, if you'd like to join us. as we move forward here, you do become a voting member of this board. I'll make the same offer. You are very welcome to sit up here if you would like.
No, thank you. I do appreciate that, but I would like to say I am cognizant of the formality of these proceedings. And I am obviously not wearing a suit, so I would just like to explain that I am in the middle of what you would call a appointment this morning that is ongoing. So
Your explanation is very kind, but not at all necessary. So that's nice of you to say. Please do not worry about it. And again, you are welcome to join us up
Thank you.
front.
No, thank you.
And what I have noticed, you are sitting down. Some years you stand up.
Yes,
So
I figured because I'm not wearing a suit that I should
Please don't.
sit down. So
Please do not worry about that. I can get away with saying this. Steve Craig would appreciate how you're dressed. Thank you again, Josh. This is proposed resolution 40.
You might be overdressed.
Yeah, are you wearing socks?
Josh,
course,
do
Steve.
your socks match?
Yes,
We miss Steve. This is proposed resolution 40. This deals with the district attorney's office and specifically the victim witness coordinator. Mr. Lamancusa, I'll turn it over to you to offer the explanation, then if you wish to make a motion.
I will follow the judge's lead and then I'll read the resolution, and if there's a second, then we can address. Resolution number 40 is for the discussion of possible approval of the victim witness coordinator. The increased $5,000 retroactive to July 1st, 2023, and the salary increase shall be contingent upon continued arise receipt of PCCD VOJO funding.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. May I, just before you begin, would you mind, for the benefit of the record and for anybody who might be viewing this, could you tell us the PCCD and the VOJ, what those stand for, please?
So the PCCD is a state entity. It's the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency, and VOJO is the victim. I believe the proper is the
Victim of juvenile
yes, victim
offenders.
of juvenile justice offenders. Yes,
Thank you, sir.
both of those PCCD is the overarching body that manages and facilitates the distribution of grant monies, both federal and state, and VOJO is the specific category, the specific grant that was awarded by and through PCCD. With regard to the actual resolution, this involves notifications of for juvenile cases. This was a function that was traditionally housed within the district attorney's office. About 10 years ago, Arise, which at the time was the crisis shelter, requested some of the proceeds from the grant in order to make some hiring decisions, and they agreed to take on responsibilities that are specified under the VOJO grant, which is specific to notification in juvenile cases. Since July 1st of 2023, the district attorney's office has reassumed those responsibilities. So we are now providing the notifications that Arise, formerly the crisis shelter, was providing. The funding for those positions comes through PCCD, specifically the VOJO grant. So what I'm requesting is the portion of the grant proceeds going to Arise. They have agreed to provide that money directly to the county to cover this increased cost. So this increase in salary, what it really does is it takes into consideration the increased work and responsibility that our victim witness coordinator is now taking on, and is at no cost to the county. There will not be, it does not affect my budget other than moving the numbers around, but there is no net impact or increase to the county or the taxpayers. It will all be funded through salary or grant receipts. And in the event that this grant were to ever go away, then the county would not be responsible for maintaining the position or maintaining the salary increase.
Thank you for that background and information. I just have one question.
Yes, sir.
To your knowledge, does the position offer benefits to the person holding the position?
Not through this resolution, but the victim witness coordinator position does have benefits as part of that position,
Yes.
which again is through the grant.
Through the grant.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate your clarifying that. I believe I left off with Commissioner Spillwick for any questions.
No questions.
Thank you, Commissioner Burek.
No questions.
Thank you, Controller Preston.
No, just to point out, as you asked about the benefits, this position, as it is now, it's a current position, does not cost the county any money. There's already a grant that covers the entire salary and the entire benefits. We're $75,000 too, which is also covered by the grant he just mentioned, so it's, none of this has anything to do with the Texas General Fund budget.
I thank you for that, for making that note, for both of you. We have a motion on the floor that has been seconded for proposed resolution 40. I'll ask for a roll call that would include Mr. Lamikusa.
District Attorney Lamatusa,
Yes.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes,
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes,
Commissioner Barrett,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you, Vanessa. The next proposed resolution, which will be numbered 41, involves the creation of a non-union intelligent analyst position. Mr. Lamikusa, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you. Again, I will follow the judge's lead. Resolution number 41 is the resolution for discussion of possible approval of the creation of one non-union intelligence analyst position at $50,000.
I'll second.
Motion's been made. I believe that was as part of your presentation. You were making that as a motion.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah.
And Mr. Prestipine
Thank you.
seconded that. And
Okay.
do you have other information you wish to share?
Yes, at present, we have a court-related specialist, or secretarial position, and the individual in that position is going to be retired. That position served the Special Investigations Unit of the Drug Task Force and the Criminal Investigation Department of the District Attorney's Office. They provided secretarial duties for both of those units. We have reached a point where I do not intend to fill that position. Therefore, what I want to do is take the money that has been allocated for that position and put it into this newly created position if this board approves it. Now, there will be a shortfall between what that position pays and what I'm requesting. That shortfall will be made up by the District Attorney's Act 77 fund. This is a fund that is maintained by the Treasurer of Lawrence County, but is in exclusive control of the District Attorney. There is programming that this position will be performing that is in direct alignment with the Act 77 requirements. Based upon the salary from the existing position coupled with the Act 77 monies, this again is another creation of a position that will not cause any additional expense to the taxpayers in Lawrence County or to my budget or to the commissioners. This is a cost neutral move. The position that was presently filled in the secretarial capacity also is entitled to healthcare benefits. So again, there's nothing that is truly changing, and the net effect is zero. The need for the position, I'm reluctant to go too, but I can tell you that there's a tremendous amount of information that the pathways have been built, and there's a tremendous amount of information that is flowing into the District Attorney's Office, into our narcotics unit, and into our criminal investigations division. And we are being overwhelmed with the information itself, and we need to have the ability to process it to be able to turn it into useful, actionable policing intelligence. That's exactly what this position would do.
Thank you for that information, and rest assured, I certainly never want to know, or should I know, some of your trade secrets. So I appreciate the specificity that you were able to give us and recognize that there are certain things that probably don't need to be shared in light of the type of work that you and your staff do. Commissioner Burek, do you have questions for Mr. Lamikusa?
I support the resolution. I'm just curious, the Act 77 funds, I understand how it works, but what's the source of those funds?
So
How are
there
those funds
is,
generated to go into the,
right, the Prevonitary's office, I shouldn't say Prevonitary, I imagine it's through the clerk of courts, and we'd have to ask Jody, that question.
The fee on filing criminal
That's
cases.
exactly it, yep, comes in through the court system,
Thank
and it gets attributed, and, the treasurer's office receives notification of the deposit, and I get an annual from the controller's office that shows the amount. It is a recurring charge, and, it is, it's actually greater than I knew in terms of the funding that was available. I'm not intending on using the entirety of it, just a small portion.
Thank you for that explanation. I have no other questions.
And I will note, both the treasurer and the prothonotary are with us this morning for other matters. And since you've been noted, do either of you have anything that you would wish to add as it relates to Mr. Burek's question or Mr. Lamancusa's presentation?
Well, I collect it and it's an annual monthly fee and it keeps growing and growing. It was a brainstorm for about 2 years ago. And it pays for itself.
Thank you very much, Jody. Rich, anything you wish to offer?
No, not other than what Josh and Jody said, other than we do the annual report to the state in regards to it.
Thank you, and as Mr.
Checks and
Lamb,
balances as
Yes.
always, right?
and then it circles back to our controller as well, so. And speaking of our controller, David, do you have questions?
I do not.
Thank you. Commissioner Spielvogel, any
No
questions?
questions.
Okay, thank you. We do have a motion on the floor for proposed resolution 41, and I would ask for a roll call that would include Mr. Lamancusa.
District Attorney Lamanfusa,
Yes.
Controller Preston,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes,
Commissioner Burek,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you so much. And then the last resolution that the district attorney is submitting to us appears to be a procedural proposal, but it's number 42, and I'll turn it back over to Josh for your presentation.
Resolution number 42 is my motion for the discussion and possible approval of the position, of commander shall be renamed Chief of the Lawrence County District Attorney's Detective Department. That is the motion.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Commissioner Spielvogel offers the second. Thank you both. Josh?
It's just a title change, that's all it is. The commander position is the head, just renaming it to be more in line and uniform with police departments and police vernacular.
Thank you for that. Mr. Prestipine, questions for Josh?
No.
Loretta? anything? Mr. Burek?
No questions.
Thank you. We do have a motion on the floor that has been seconded, and I'll ask for a roll call that would include Mr. Lamancusa.
District Attorney Lamanfusa,
Yes.
Controller Preston,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes,
Commissioner Burek,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you.
I would note that for all of the changes that were approved today, I have prepared job description modifications that will be submitted to HR so that they have them on file. So that would be up to date. And the only other matter that I had before this board, and it's not connected to a district attorney's resolution, it's connected to the jail's resolution. I don't know how you wanted to proceed with that. I know I'm not the moving party, but I did possess all the information, so I didn't know.
Well, and knowing of your very busy and hectic schedule, I don't think it would be fair for me to ask you to wait until we get to that point, because it's going to be a while before we get to that. Would my colleagues have any objection to allowing Mr. Lamancusa to offer his comments?
no,
No judge.
Please.
This is obviously not a formal motion, as the motion will have to be presented by the warden.
Actually, it'll have to come from one of the four of us.
That's right, that's right.
But he'll offer the background.
Yes, sir. The Buxton District Attorney presently maintains a detective position that was sent to the jail to provide intelligence services at Lawrence County Jail. It was assumed when we created the position that they would go over to the jail, be able to help out with some internal matters, but would still be performing the services of the district attorney's office. It became very quickly evident that there was more work that the jail required, and that detective began fulfilling those responsibilities for the Lawrence County Jail. Created a situation where I had a detective that we are employing, that we are paying, that I cannot use because he is performing all of the jail services. So the need became very evident for the facility to have a detective position. I have agreed that I will continue to carry the VOPEC number, which is the police licensing number of the individual, but it's sure I'd like my detective back. So I
You're so
believe,
selfish.
I know, I believe that the jail is going to be through the boards, going to be moving for the creation of a position. And I could say from what I've observed, and this individual does answer through the chain of command, the jail would not be out of line asking for two of these same individuals. I know that's not gonna happen, but there is more than enough work, and there's more work this individual can possibly do. At the same time, I do need my detective so we can perform our functions. So that is the information I have to provide.
And I appreciate your entering that into the record, and when we get to that
Yes.
point, I hope we'll all remember what Mr. Manakusa had to offer to us.
I thank you for your time this morning.
Well, as always, thank you, and we appreciate all the work you do for this community and your professional.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care, Josh. Stay safe. Next on the agenda, our prothonotary, Jody Clavin-Asaldo is with us, and Jody, it's always nice to see you. You're welcome to sit up front
Thank
if you'd like. And you have a number of resolutions, starting
page.
with, you're a very important person in this
When
organization.
you realign, you realign.
Realign.
Well, we'll start with proposed resolution 43, and I'll let you explain to us what this proposal does.
Okay, good morning. This is, it's very hard to explain, but I had a resignation of the highest in my office. And her resignation, I could not fill them. To move people, I have to realign my whole office because they lose about $6,000 because of the base rate. I'm not changing base rates, they're fine. Everything's fine, I just need to realign. With her leaving, those, numerous retirements have been, left my office, and I have not replaced them. I have reassigned jobs and merged them together. So this is more like a formality of changing names and retitling, because she was senior chief deputy of the highest of my three offices. And I have to rename. The salaries coincide with her leaving, so it's like a wash. The rest of them is like a wash because I've saved numerous, I have numerous jobs that I have not filled due to realigning. It's a long time coming and it just takes a long time to do. But I have money and I have movement. There's no overtime. I stay every night because I work closely with the courts and the DA. So there's no overtime insurance. A lot of them don't take it. So it's a big savings. It's more of a realignment on record. So.
Thank you, and in order to move forward with that, this first proposed resolution, 43, would create a chief deputy of orphans court with a base rate of $45,000. And upon completion of established education goals and approval by the prothonotary, a $2,000 increase in the salary would then be awarded, and the above changes would be effective retroactive to October 3 of this year. Is this proposal, are you willing to make a motion for its consideration, Jody?
Yes, I am motion.
Thank you. Is there a second? Give this one to Mr. Prestipine this time. And,
You did.
Jody, before I turn it over for questions, I'll see if you have anything else you wish to add on this specific.
No, I have, when I was the chief, senior chief, I was of all three offices. It gets renamed quite a bit. So I have I have prothonotary clerk and orphans court. I do not have a chief orphans court. With the guardian tracking system and now with the courts and the tracking, it has made a ton of money for the courts. I'm the financial guru of the courts. Without me, they don't work. But so I would like to create this position. at $45,000, that's the base. But the person that will take this position makes higher of what this is. So it would only be a 2,000 base rate of mostly all these. My deputies make 43, the chiefs make 45. That is very fair. I don't know what other offices do. I'm only concerned with my office. So I would like to request the creation of a chief deputy orphans court, because it has been a long time coming. I would say, I've been here 43 years. I would say 43 years. So I would like to request that is the first part of the realignment.
Certainly. That's where we have the motion in the second. Commissioner Spielvogel, do you have any questions?
No questions, other than in the 4 years that I've been a commissioner, I know that when Jody does come to the salary board, there's always a savings involved. So I know that she's talked about this realignment just in general conversation and saying that it's needed to be done, it's needed to be done. So absolutely, I will support.
Thank you. Commissioner Burek?
Just one question. The resolution specifies upon completion of established education goals. Are those education goals state required? Are they in the job description? Just tell me a little bit more about the.
They're a resolution from 4 years ago, but this one, the education goals are already met. They go to a computer class, and it adds a $2,000 educational bonus. It was done 5 years ago. In my office, you just can't walk in. They have to learn a lot of the computers and all the AOPC, administrative courts. So that's the educational. But these people have already met those educational goals.
So are those those classes conducted by the state or by your association or?
By the association, myself, the county.
But those are actually spelled out in the job description.
The job descriptions will be redone as soon as I leave here.
Clearing those specific skills.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
They're in the resolution from 4 years ago.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Preston? Thank you very much. We have a motion on the floor for Resolution 43. It's been seconded. May I ask for a roll call that would include Mrs. Clavin DeSalvo?
I would like,
Oh, no, please, go ahead.
no, that's it. No, go
Okay.
ahead.
Cathonateria Saldo,
Yes.
Controller Prestify,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes,
Commissioner Burek,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes?
motion carries.
Thank you. The next resolution, 44, again, our Cathonateria is proposing this, and this involves the Chief Deputy of the Orphans Court. I'll turn it over to you for an explanation, and then if you wish to make a motion.
This is also the reconstruction due to the retirement of the top level. Her leaving has made all these races like a wash. So she makes $5,000 more, and they've all been acting since October 3rd when she left. So that could not move them until I came to salary board. So it's just a formality of a $2,000 raise, which is the difference in between the base rates. Nothing changes with basis. So I am requesting the salary of the current chief deputy orphans court shall be $51,203.13 with no change to the base rate. This one is not effective to go back because it was just created.
Do you wish to make that as a motion?
I would like to motion that.
Thank you
Yes, I'm
so
sorry.
much. No, it's okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Loretta. Lost track of some starts. I think it's your turn to start with questions. Forgive me if I went out of order.
I'm good.
Thank you. Loretta?
Nothing.
Brian?
I'm just curious, the previous resolution created the Chief Deputy Orphans Court at a base rate, and then this next resolution sets the base rate at a higher amount. Why, I'm just curious, why wasn't this all done in one resolution, created and then set?
It cannot,
This one just said that the person that she's moving into that position
Already
already
makes more than the base.
$45,000.
I got you, so it had to be
So
done in
it's
two
in the
steps.
percentage.
Okay, no other questions, thank you.
that's my whole page.
Now it makes sense.
And I'm kind of excited.
For a second, it makes sense, I understand, thank you.
And someone's keeping track.
Thank you
Thank
all.
God for the controller, 'cause
Right.
I give you.
I was confused myself when I was doing it.
He's the one that handles payroll.
Yes, he
so
does,
I
he's
will
very good,
defer
his whole
to the
staff is
controller.
excellent.
Yes, they are.
Well, we've had the discussion on the motion for proposed resolution 44. It's been seconded. If there is no other discussion, I'll request a roll call vote.
Persona Saldo,
Yes,
Controller Prestafine,
Yes,
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. The next proposal, number 45, also comes from the proprietary. And I'll turn it over to you for your explanation, then if you care to make a motion.
this is a motion reconstructing the office due to this retirement. My salary of my current senior chief deputy is $53,894 with no charges at the base rate. For her to move into these positions, she had to take a $6,000 pay cut. So this is the same one, and it coincides with the last two resolutions. The salary of my current chief deputy clerk of courts is $51,203.13 with no change to the base rate. It's a $2,000 raise in between, and it's effective October 4th. Due to they have all been working in these positions due to this retirement. And due to the retirement, it's a wash with the salaries.
Thank you, and that is a motion, I assume?
Yes, it is, I'm sorry.
That's quite all right. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you.
And my understanding is this is so they could have been, the promotion they got without taking a pay cut. That's why I got you.
Because of my
base rate's lower than what they're.
My base rate of my resolution was the bottom.
Thank you very much. And I seconded the motion.
Any other questions?
No other questions.
Mr. Preston?
Nothing.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. I'll ask for a roll call that would include the proprietary, please.
Persona Saldo,
Yes,
Controller Prestafine,
Yes,
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. Proposed resolution 46 would retitle the position of Chief Deputy Proprietary Orphans Court to that of Chief Deputy Clerk of Courts. And I'll turn it over to you, Jody, for your explanation, and then if you care to make a motion.
this is in need of reconstructing the office due to this retirement. I'm retitling the position of Chief Deputy Proprietary Orphans Court to Chief Deputy Clerk of Courts, and then retitle the position to Senior Chief Deputy. To Senior Chief Deputy Clerk of Courts to Senior Chief Deputy. The girl that retired was the Senior Chief Deputy or just the Clerk of Courts, because she was the highest of all three officers. I am switching that to, this is just a renaming of a Senior Chief Deputy. That's all it is. So I motioned for renaming the Senior Chief.
Thank you so much. Is there a second to that motion?
we'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Prestapine, and I'll see if you have any questions.
I don't,
Thank you. Loretta?
None, thank
my
you.
office, you can call whenever she wants.
Brian?
I agree. No questions.
What's that?
I respect the auditor's desire to complete the reorganization, have the appropriate titles for the people that are doing the work as she assigns.
And you know, the controller made a good point. Your office, as you've noted and your predecessor used to know, you wear three hats. You're
Yes,
the
I do.
proprietary, you're the clerk of courts, and the clerk of orphans court. And that's not something you dreamed up or any of us dreamed up. That's based on the state's county code. And I do want to note too that, and I've said this many times, that a lot of people have the misconception that three commissioners are the bosses of everybody in this organization. That is simply not true. The elected officials, such as yourself, Mr. Lamancusa, Mr. Rapone, and so on, are independently elected. They do not report to the commissioners. They report to the voters. Now, we have the responsibility of formulating their budgets, but beyond that, they are independent of the Board of Commissioners. That's based on the county code. Again, not something we made up. Forgive my digression. So this is 46, and forgive me, we do have the second.
Yes.
Okay, Jody, do you have anything else to add?
No, I don't. It's the retirement. I'd like to motion for the retitlement of the position of Senior Chief Deputy Clerk of Courts to just Senior Chief Deputy.
And Loretta, did we
we
go
already did
around
that.
already? I'm
Yes,
sorry.
yes, yes.
Okay, thank
We're
you
good.
for catching me on that. We just need a roll call then, don't we? I'll ask for that roll call.
Persona Saldo,
Yes,
Controller Prestafine,
Yes,
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Loretta, thanks for keeping me on the
No,
straight and
no.
narrow. Number 47 comes from the monetary, would create a criminal division program specialist at base rate of $36,500. Jody, I'll turn it over to you.
This motion is, I seek to create a criminal division program specialist position. This position shall be in the clerk of court's office. It's for all ARD programs, all drug programs. We have many mental health programs, veterans program, and all driver's license. It has been, how can I say, it is very time sensitive with the courts. We just have so many programs now with the courts. And this one girl does it all. And she has so many duties, so I'm combining a couple. It's a non-salary, I have no overtime, and I am there every night. I mean, they are there at all hours. A lot of my stuff, I have money to back, approval. I'm self-sufficient, let's say, with my fees. And if I need a major electronic or anything with computer system, I don't go to the county. I can suffice that, or the DA. And I work closely with the courts and the DA and the public defender, so in juvenile and APO. So I take everything in and then I distribute. So this clerk, it's only like probably a $2,000 raise too, because they're court-related specialists. So it's not even that's probably $1,800 for this girl. So I'm requesting that like I said, after I'm done, if they are approved, I will give a breakdown of all the new classifications and everything. I have a list with controller help me with it for the HR.
Thank you. That is a motion on your part.
Yes, I motion for the creation of reconstructing of the office to create a criminal division program specialist position at the rate of $36,500.
Thank you. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Thank you, Loretta. Mr. Burek, questions?
Just so I understand, this is already a person in your office, you're adding duties to it and creating a new title for that.
Yes, they're due
position.
to the courts and everything that they're
But
readjusting.
you're not abolishing the title of the title the person currently holds.
But now I can't, it's a union position. I have not just filled a lot of them. Due to retirement, I've probably not filled 5 positions and 5 part-times. So that's a savings of probably, without insurance, about $207,000.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Prestipine? Thank you. Commissioner Spielvogel?
Nothing.
Okay, thank you. I believe we do have the motion and the second. I'll ask for a roll call.
Secretary Saldo?
Yes,
Controller Prestipine?
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And then I believe the last proposal is number 48, dealing with the confidential specialist position. Jody, I'll turn it back over to you.
I would like to motion, this is a need of reconstruction due to this retirement and construction of the office. I would like to seek another confidential specialist position, has all the confidential court filing, sealing orders, procedural motions, accounting, metrics, miscellaneous filings with the division of the prothonotary. Mostly it's the PFA division. There's money that's out there that I can't enforce like I can in criminal. So this person also does dependencies. They do juveniles because we are all 3 offices. So she has a lot of responsibilities. It's a non-union job due to overtime. She's there probably every night, probably till 4:30. And I do not have an overtime.
Thank you for that background.
And this is just recreating, and the money is all there due to retirement of the top levels.
The motion has been made. Is there a second to Jody's motion?
I'll second. That same
Boy, it was
1
close,
second, 2-second hesitancy waiting for the other.
We'll say Loretta seconded this time. And speaking of,
Finish.
Loretta, do you have questions then for
No.
Jody? David, any questions for Jody? Jody. Mr. Burek? Okay, thank you. That's been moved and seconded. We've had the appropriate discussion. I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Raton Andrea-Soldo,
Yes.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Steelvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes?
motion carries.
Thank you. Real quick question, Jody. Just just off the top of your head, I know I'm hitting you cold with this, so just an estimate if you can. When you took office, roughly, how many people were in your office and roughly how many are there now?
There was 29 total and I think 6 part-timers.
When you came in as Platonic, do you know where you stand right now, give or take?
16, 1 part-timer and myself.
Thank you very much for that information. Before she leaves, since I asked her a question, any other questions for Jody? Okay. We appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you
You're
for
welcome,
taking the
you're
time.
welcome to
Merry
stay, but
Christmas
if
and thank you.
Yes,
It was
yes.
a joy working with you,
Thank you.
Reverend Mr. Burke, and as always. And I cannot say I miss Joe Vanasco of the county. He has helped me tremendously with our budget, with everything. He is just an asset to the county.
we will pass that on.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jody. You take care. Next on our agenda, number 49, falls with our county treasurer, Richard Rapone. Richard, you're very welcome to come up front if you'd like,
Thank you kindly.
or you may sit there wherever.
I'm fine here. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Good morning, everybody.
They saw that little chair, that's why.
Rich, you have one resolution for us. This would be number 49. This involves your chief deputy and your second deputy, and I'll turn it over to you for an explanation, and then if you care to make a motion.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. This is a motion, whereas the treasurer is requesting a salary adjustment for 2 positions within his office. I am requesting for my chief deputy treasurer a salary increase of $2,500, and for my second deputy treasurer, a salary increase of $2,000. I think what we've heard a lot this morning, and I'm in the same pulse, in the same vein of retention. Okay. The responsibilities and the duties of both these positions in the treasurer's office is imperative. There's tenure involved here with both positions. And I do want to say that this is being funded by a line item that was in my budget prior to COVID. And we have not used this line item since COVID. It's very difficult. Basically, it's coming from a part-time temporary line item that I had. You know, if somebody was off, I could bring somebody in to do the duties and everything. Very, very difficult. Very hard, and you've heard that this morning, to find people to want to come to work full-time, yet not part-time or temporary. So I'm taking the funds that have been in my budget since prior to COVID and asking that to be divided between my 2 deputies.
Well, thank you very much for that. I heard you say at the outset that that is your motion. I'll see if another board member would like to second that.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Loretta, very much. And I'll start with Mr. Burek to see if he has questions of Mr. Rapone.
No questions.
Mr. Prestipine
Nothing.
and Commissioner Spielman.
Nothing.
Rich, anything else before we take the roll call?
No, thank you.
Thank you. I'll ask for the roll call that would include Mr. Rapone.
Treasurer Rapone,
Yes.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Steelvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. Richard, always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you all very much. I greatly appreciate it.
Wish you well.
Thank you so much.
Take care. And again, as we said to everybody else, you're welcome to stay, but I'm sure you're busy
I
next week.
appreciate it. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Take care. That takes care of the elected officials. What happens from now on, we have various department heads coming to us. Based on the county code, they do not have a vote. The votes rest with the 4 permanent members of this board. We did this list alphabetically, and I'm going to start with a proposal from the assessor's office. Mr. Hardister is out of town today, couldn't join us, and this proposal ties in with not only with the assessment office, but with the planning office as well, and even public safety. Alan Miller is pinch hitting today. Please, Alan. And I know you have to leave for a business trip. So
Yeah.
I will note, just for the record, later in the meeting, we have a couple proposals from the planning office. However, we have a memo from Mrs. McKinney that wouldn't necessitate your having to stay. We know you have to hit the road. So, but we appreciate you taking the time to join us. This proposal, which would be number 50, would establish the base salary of the GIS planner position at $45,000. And Alan, I'll let you offer the background, but correct me if I'm wrong, the position rests in the assessor's office, but it is quasi-shared with planning office and even public safety. But if I said that correctly, then I'll turn it back over to you. Correct me if I was wrong.
Well, the position currently is just between assessment and planning. With the salary increase, we're planning on increasing the roles to include public safety.
Thank you. What else do you have to offer?
The position itself, as far as, it requires a degree in GIS in order for someone to be accepted into the position. It's becoming difficult at the current salary in order to fill the position and retain people within that position. We've had to replace several people in the last couple of years. As far as how the salary increase can be funded, the planning department has several funding sources, including Unified Planning Work Program from PennDOT, Highway Performance Monitoring System from PennDOT, and Community Development Block Grants. As far as the reason we're including public safety in it, the new next-gen 911 system acquired from FEMA requires that we have a 72-hour turnaround on being able to update our 911 data with the state. And so far, the deputy director of planning is the one that does the updating now. If they are not available within that 72-hour period, we cannot meet that because we don't have anyone else at the county who is able to do that. So.
And I will note for the record that both Mrs. McKinney and Mr. Hardister did submit a written memorandum to this board dated December 8th. We'll enter that into the record. It pretty much repeats what Mr. Miller just shared with us. I would be remiss if I didn't ask, and I don't want to put you on the spot, Chad, but anything you would wish to offer.
I would just offer my support to the resolution. Our entire operation runs off of GIS. It tells us where a house is, who's supposed to go there, which ambulance company, which fire department, which group of fire departments, police, everything. Without accurate, up-to-date GIS information entered into the system, we're flying blind because we're leaving it up to people's guesses. So that information is crucial to our day-to-day operation.
I thank you for that input. For the record, that was Chad Strobel, who is our director of the Public Safety Department. I think for those who might be viewing us, I think you've seen already, it's been demonstrated numerous times this morning, the interaction, the interplay that goes on between so many of our offices. And this is a perfect example of that. Do you have anything else to offer, Alan? May I have a motion for us to consider this proposed resolution?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Crestapine, do you have questions of either Mr. Miller or, if necessary, Mr. Strobel?
I do not.
Thank you. Loretta?
I do not.
Thank you. And Mr. Burek?
Just reiterate a couple points. This position, due to the degree requirement, has had, and the ability of the wage inflation of the past several years, we've had several people come and go from that position, and we need to adjust this base salary again to recruit and retain a good employee. They serve a vital role for all three departments that they serve, and I support the resolution.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion on the floor that has been seconded for Resolution 50. May I have a roll call, please?
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Burek,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. Alan, we
Thank
very
you,
much
Alan.
appreciate your taking the time, and I know you have to head out. Please, safe travels.
Yes.
Thank you, Alan. Take care.
That's why, because, yeah, I'll change it.
Okay, move ahead.
Yeah. There's just a typo on that. Last name there.
It became related to the last.
There was a typo on the resolution, so I just pointed out so we can correct that before it goes.
Good for me, but not so good for you, let me tell you. Proposed resolution 51 would fall under the responsibility jurisdiction of the Board of Commissioners. This proposed resolution would increase the current salary of the deputy chief clerk position by an amount of $4,000. It would also increase the current administrative assistant position by $2,000. The resolution would become effective January 1 of 2024, and those two positions would not receive the 2024 COLA. I don't want to steal Commissioner Burek's thunder, and maybe he can elaborate, but I do want to make note that, I'll go back to when I came into office in 2004. We had 5 administrative staff in those positions in the commissioner's office. Shortly thereafter, it was moved down to 4, but through the years, it's gone down to 2. And I didn't mean to steal your thunder, but let me first get a motion for us to consider it, and then I'll go around for comments or questions.
So moved.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Loretta. I think I've said what I needed to say, but Mr. Burek, I'll start with you.
Mr. Chairman, you did steal my thunder. I just wanted to note that when I left office in 2004 and you took office, there were 5 positions in the commissioner's office. And I was shocked and surprised when I came back this year that there was only 2 people in the office. And these positions, each is doing the work of 2 people, and they do an excellent job. And that's why I'm going to support these increases. It's still a cost savings over what, by not filling the positions due to retirement, similar to what the Thornton Clerk of Courts did. The county has saved a lot of money by not filling these positions, and I think it's well justified to pay the outstanding work that's being done by 2 people that used to be the work of 4 people.
Thank you for that input. And I will also note that those 2 individuals do the work for 5 people in that office, the 3 commissioners, the solicitor, and the county administrator. Mr. Prestipine, any comments?
Nothing.
Thank you, sir. Loretta?
I will also add that they are responsible to do the work of the prison board, elections, retirement, to name a few.
And also they administer and track the liquid fuels and Act 13 allocations and so many more responsibilities and duties that fall on those 2 positions.
Are there any other comments or questions or concerns? I hear none, so I'll ask for a roll call for Resolution 51.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Steelvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Burek,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes?
motion carries.
Thank you so much. Proposed Resolution 52 pertains to the Office of Children and Youth Services. John Bout is the director. John, good morning. We appreciate your patience this
Yes,
morning.
thank you.
And you do have a proposed resolution for us with, I guess, some supplemental information. Thank you, sir. This is proposed Resolution 52. And as Mr. Bout will soon explain, this would create a caseworker supervisor position. The salary would be commensurate with the collective bargaining agreement that we have with the ASME union. But John, I'll turn it over to you if you could offer us some background on the proposal and even touch a little bit on the how the position is funded.
Yes, good morning. Appreciate your time. This resolution is for an additional caseworker supervisor. It would be the 6th caseworker supervisor position. It is currently funded in our state Act 148 budget. It's been available since July 1st. the position would be effective January 1st. Our purpose is to assign this supervisor, if salary board agrees, to our intake department in an effort to improve child safety and to give our current caseworkers better support.
You mentioned the funding of the position. What's the percentage breakdown between the state's funding and the county's requirement for funding?
The state commissioner is 80% and the county's is 20%. The breakdown, the total local share or county share, salary and benefits would be $17,160.
Thank you so much. I guess what I'll do first is ask for a motion in a second, and then and I should have waited for that motion. Forgive me for jumping ahead. Is there a motion for us to consider this, please?
I so move.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Loretta. And I'll start with you if you have questions.
And not questions, but just also, as far as the cost to the county, that is, we always include the family benefit package in the event that is what is needed. It may not be that actual cost to the county if it's a person that is single or maybe just has a spouse as opposed to a family plan. So I just wanted to note that we always go with the maximum. I keep looking at Karen and our human resources director, she's shaking her head, so I know that I'm not off base saying that we do that just to make sure that the funding is there and is available. So it may not actually be 17,000.
I appreciate your noting that.
Yes.
For the record, thank you. Mr. Prestipine, do you have questions for Mr. Bao?
I do not.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Burek?
No questions. I do want to make a brief statement. I'm going to support this resolution. Many of you know, earlier in my career, I worked as a caseworker for the Pennsylvania Department of Human Services. And what happens is when you're a new caseworker, you need the support, guidance, and direction of your supervisor. And currently at CYS, the average tenure of our caseworkers is very short tenure. And under the current structure, the supervisors have a large number of caseworkers. By adding additional caseworker supervisor position, it'll reduce the number of caseworkers the supervisor has to oversee, and will allow them to spend more time to train, mentor, and guide these caseworkers. So, because what they do is important, intake affects protect the well-being and safety of the children in our county. I believe this will help with the staffing situation there and reduce the caseload of each supervisor so they can do an even better job training, mentoring, and supervising the young caseworkers there. So I appreciate the Director Bob bringing this to us, and I support the resolution.
Thank you so much. Assuming there are no other questions or discussion, we do have a motion on the floor, and I'll ask for the roll call, please.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Burek?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you, Vanessa. John, I believe that's all you have for us.
That's it.
Thank you for your time, and
Thank you.
take care.
I will. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
The jail is with us by way of
Jeremy, we skipped the human resources.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Once again, proof how they keep me in line. They do a good job of it. We have our visitors coming in for, please come in. We are conducting the public salary board meeting. It's open to the public. You're welcome to stay for it. It's probably going to run past 10 o'clock, but we will start our commissioners meeting at the conclusion of this meeting. So thank you both for joining us.
Okay.
I apologize to Karen and to my colleagues. Item K is human resources. Actually, you know why? There it is. I'm sorry. This is number 53. Karen, would you please join us at the seat up here? Karen King is our Director of Human Resources. This proposal would increase the Deputy Director's position by $2,000, taking effect January 1, and the position would not receive the 2024 proposed COLA. And I do want to note, and probably don't want to steal your thunder, but we have over 400 employees in county government, and we have a two-person Human Resources Department. Karen, I'll turn it over to you for anything that you'd like to add to what we've talked about so far.
Well, due to us having 428 employees right now, it grows. Like, right now, Cindy's in there getting paperwork ready for new hires. Every office, we have been trying and trying and trying. The jail, including, it's like, I have more signs up that I keep forgetting where they're at to help the judge, to help the jail. Cindy does the paperwork. We try to get everybody in on time to make sure that we can work with the controller's office so they do not have to worry about when to pay these people. I mean, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and Cindy does a lot of work. She takes work home. She takes payroll home at times. Right now, we're having a problem with payroll, with the benefits. And we're still trying to get that straightened out. We're not even sure if we're going to be able to pay the benefits because they haven't given us a correct sheet.
Who's that?
Unum, Highmark.
Your external
Yes,
agencies.
we're just having some issues that we have to work out because I have to leave as soon as I get them. So we need another person, but Cindy and I have been, trying to work this out, get it done to just help. And I really believe she deserves an increase in her salary.
Thank you. For us to move ahead with questions and comments, would a board member wish to make a motion for this proposal?
So moved.
Second, thank you both. I'll start with Mr. Prestipine to see if you have any questions for Mrs. King. Okay, thank you. Commissioner Spielvogel?
No questions.
Thank you. And Commissioner Burek? Thank you. We have a motion on the floor that's been seconded. We'll do a roll call, please.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you so much. Karen, thank you.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you, David, I have to sit in.
Take care.
All right.
Next on the agenda, we have two proposals from the jail. These would be number 54 and 55. I'll note for the record that, first of all, the oversight of the jail based on the county code consists of 7 positions in county government. The president judge, the county controller, the district attorney, the sheriff, and the 3 county commissioners are responsible for the oversight of the jail and its operations. I'll also note that yesterday, the prison board did hold its public meeting in this room at noon yesterday, and the 2 issues that Mr. Warden Malmeister is going to be presenting were discussed at that public meeting. Let's start with proposed resolution 54. Warden, I'll turn it over to you if you'd like to give us some background, and then we can move forward to see if there's a motion.
I'm looking for a resolution for possible approval to take the existing lead captain position and name that the deputy warden of security, and to establish a base salary for the deputy warden of security and a deputy warden of operations to be $70,000. 2 years ago, when I took over, COVID was full grade, and the population since that time has doubled. Mental health cases that we see coming in each and every day, I could really use the assistance with deputy warden positions. We've since then established a program. We actually house out-of-county inmates. Currently have approximately 30 females from 2 different counties. We also have a juvenile unit where we house interest of justice inmates. So the need as far as oversight and supervision, it really is those 2 positions.
And forgive me, because you probably just said it, but the out-of-county inmates that we do house, those counties pay us for that. We do get revenue. That 7-8 years ago wasn't happening, at least to the extent that it's happening now. So I appreciate all your efforts in bringing in additional dollars to the county by way of housing.
We currently, our revenue that we bring in each month over at the jail is approximately $100,000 between the females and the juveniles. And I foresee that the juvenile program will increase as everybody knows, there's a large need to be able to house these juveniles. There's not too many places around.
We've also noted in previous meetings, but right now in this room are the two department heads of the two departments that never shut down. Your jail runs around the clock every day of the year. Same holds true with our 911 center, which Mr. Strobel has oversight of at the Public Safety Building out in Hickory Township. So, first thing I'll ask is, would a member of the board wish to make a motion for us to consider this resolution?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you both. And let's see if there are questions. I'll start with no, let me start with Commissioner Spielvogel, since she chairs the prison board.
Thank you. And thank you for mentioning that as chair of prison board. I know through the years, the last couple of years, working very closely with the warden, knowing what he has, brought before us is definitely something that is needed. It's trending throughout the state, throughout the country. Anywhere that you go, any person that you talk to that is involved in any way, shape, or form with corrections will tell you that there is an increase in inmates. There is an increase in the interest of justice juveniles. Those are those juveniles under the age of 18 that are charged as adults that do go into the adult system. We have an issue with juvenile detention beds to begin with those charged as juveniles, let alone trying to find housing for those juveniles that are charged as adults. The warden has certainly stepped up to the plate since taking over. He's noted 2 years ago the number of inmates has increased, pretty much doubled, and would unfortunately continue to increase because there is overcrowding at different jails and then the need for the juveniles. I will say that we have had the JC, the Juvenile Court Judges Commission, come in to look over our juvenile program that we do have. They have given their blessing for us to accept the juveniles, and they continue to monitor us to make sure that we're doing things correctly. The mental health issues with the inmates coming in is something that definitely needs to be addressed, continue to be addressed, and then also for the reintegration of those inmates that are leaving the systems. I could go on and on with it. It is something that has been near and dear to me, even in my work with being a commissioner with the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania, chairing the Courts and Corrections Committee. This is definitely a statewide issue as well as a nationwide issue that needs to be addressed. And it is something that is a top priority for CCAP. So I certainly support this. I support any support that we could give to the warden for him to continue to not only continue the work that he is doing, but to also continue to make our corrections facility a safe and secure place to house inmates, as well as safe and secure for those that do work there.
Thank you so much. Mr. Prestipine, questions or comments?
Nothing.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Burek?
All of my questions were answered yesterday at the Public Prison Board meeting. I'll just make a brief statement. I am going to support this resolution. As was noted, two things: our budget can't accommodate this increase in the base rate of these two deputy warden positions due to we always budgeted for part-time staff, and it's been alluded to other people. It's hard to get people to take go through the training necessary to take these part-time positions. So we're saving money on the part-time salary line items. And also, you had mentioned the jail is generating additional revenue from other counties from housing interests of justice, juveniles, and females. So our budget can accommodate this request. And I hope that if this passes, the ward is able to fill those positions with people that will help him continue to run the 24/7 operation that's vital for public safety.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burek. Before we vote, Warden, anything else on this particular proposal?
I think we've touched on everything.
Thank you so much. I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Burek,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Vanessa. Proposed resolution 55 also involves the jail. Warden, I'll turn it over to you if you would give us some background on this, please.
As District Attorney Linda Cuso had stated earlier, we're looking for the resolution approval for possible approval to create one intelligence police officer position at the salary of $55,000 at the jail, and will eliminate the intel officer / drug and alcohol task force liaison position that we have. The individual that's currently filling that position, I can't say enough about him. He's gone above and beyond. The district attorney talked about, he really rarely saw him over there. That was because I did have him tied up. There's a lot of duties and responsibilities that he performs each and every day, and I'm very thankful to have him.
Thank you, sir. Given that background, I'd ask if there is a board member who would like to move for this proposal.
I'll make a motion.
David, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Loretta. Mr. Burek, do you have questions for the warden or any comments?
No.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Prestipine? And again, I probably should have started with you in your capacity as
Fine.
chair. Forgive me for that.
No problem at all. Once again, working as closely as I have with the warden, knowing that, again, with an increase across the board in all areas, from the arrest, intake, processing, the management of the day-to-day operations, and then monitoring, phone calls, activities. It is I'm not surprised that the DA never saw him and then would want his position back. But again, we would need to create something that, is above and beyond what the intel officer had done in the past. So we are definitely in need to continue that position.
Thank you again. I
Sure.
apologize to you.
No,
I should have called on you
needed.
first.
No, none needed.
Thank you so much. We have a motion and a second. Assuming there are no other questions or discussion, I'll request a roll call vote, please.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. Warden, it's always good to see you, and forgive me one second. Mr. Baldwin, I noticed you back there, and I keep thinking, well, maybe Scott has something
I have
to
nothing.
add, or you just here to observe, which is fine.
Just to support the warden and
Oh, please, do you have comments then?
well, we were discussing ways to support the jail. And as Loretta had mentioned, the increase in mental health inmates that are there. So historically, the jail has paid for all of that out of their budget. And it's allowed under ours. And honestly, it probably should be something that we pay for. So it's just something that we're partnering with the jail moving forward to absorb some of those costs to free up so he can do a little bit more there. So that's all.
Well, I want to thank you, first of all, for waiting as long as you did to say what you had to say, which was very valuable. That's Scott Baldwin is the director of our Mental Health and Developmental Services Office. And once again, it reinforces where you see this interdepartment cooperation happening here in county government. It's a perfect example of it. So thank you for that input. That's very, very helpful, Scott. Do any board members have questions for Mr. Baldwin since he's here? And look like you want to say something else, Ward.
Yes, Commissioner. I mean, what Mr. Baldwin has done at the jail and the support and that he's provided over at the jail is greatly appreciated. I mean, I can pick up that phone anytime and give him a call, and either himself or one of his staff members are over there to speak with the individuals that are having some difficulties in mental health right now. So I really can't say enough about what Scott and his staff do. So very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you for noting that. What's interesting is you could put a lot of other department heads in that chair and they would say the same thing
Yes.
about Scott and
Yes.
his staff. So thank you both, gentlemen. Any other final concerns for these two gentlemen? Okay, thank you both. Scott, you're welcome to stay. If you have to move along, we understand.
Heading to the airport.
All right.
Safe travels.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have two proposed resolutions from the planning office, and you'll notice our planning director, Amy McKinney, is not with us today. She had a personal commitment that would have been very difficult for her to change. And I will note for the record that Amy did meet with the salary board members in an executive session, but also let me enter into the record a memo that she has sent to us pertaining to both proposed resolutions. Thank you again for the opportunity to discuss my staff and the requested increases. The increases for all staff are covered by the Community Development Block Grant Administrative Funds, and there are no county dollars being used. These funds are used for the administration of the program that the planning office oversees for the 27 non-entitlement communities, also the borough of Elwood City, Union Township, and Shenango Township. Secondly, the creation of the office manager / CDBG administrator is being requested due to the extra work that the current office manager has been doing. The position of office manager will be eliminated, and if approved, the office manager / CDBG administrator position will be created. This new position will be responsible for the jobs of the office manager, as well as assisting the director and deputy director with administering the Community Development Block Grant Program. The increase in salary from the office manager to the office manager / CDBG administrator is fully funded by the Community Development Block Grant Administrative Funds that the county receives. I'd like to enter that into the record if I could. And let's start then with the proposal number 56. And this was in the second part of Mrs. McKinney's memo regarding what she's proposing here is that a position of office / Community Development Block Grant Administrator be created at a salary of $34,000, and that we eliminate one office manager position. Before I even take a motion, forgive me, would this require language about benefits, or is that just a given, Dave? It's a given.
Full-time employees offer benefits, so salary board doesn't have to wait.
I appreciate that, thank you. I've noted her memo, I've noted the proposed resolution. Would someone care to make a motion so that we can talk about it?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Loretta and Brian. I'll start with Mr. Prestipine, please.
No, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Spielvogel?
Same here.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Burek?
Again, for both of these resolutions for planning, I'll make a brief statement. I'm going to support them. We've talked about it today due to the wage inflation in our society and over the last 5 years especially. The county, in order to recruit and retain good employees, needs to adjust many of these salaries, which have frankly fallen far behind what the private sector and other local county governments are offering. And also a way to recognize and reward the great work that people have done. In this particular case, the office manager has taken on additional duties related to the CDBG program, which does generate grant funds. So I'm going to support both these resolutions for those reasons. I've been very impressed this year working with the county planning office staff. They do an outstanding job, extremely professional, extremely helpful. Developers, municipalities, working with the planning commission's members, working with the redevelopment authority board members. I've been very impressed with that office, and I'm going to support both of those resolutions for the reasons I stated.
Thank you, Mr. Burek. What we're looking at right now is proposed resolution 56 that we've talked about. It's been moved and seconded. If there are no other concerns, I would ask for a roll call.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Burek,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And then proposed resolution 57, again, noting, I'm not going to reread Mrs. McKinney's memo, but I will note what the proposal does. Notes that the planning director would receive an increase in the salary of that position by $4,000. The deputy director of planning would see an increase of $3,000. And the deputy director of community development would also see an increase of $3,000. This resolution would take effect on the 1st of January of 2024, and those three positions will not receive the 2024 cost of living adjustment. This is proposed resolution 57. May I have a motion for it, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Burek. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Spielvogel, and I'll start with you to see if you have any questions.
No comments.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Prestipine.
No, I'll just reiterate that this is coming from the CDBG admin dollars, so although these aren't salaries are paid out of the general fund, the revenue from the admin dollars will increase also, so it'll basically be neutral.
Thank you, sir. Those are federal funds, are they not? Yes. Thank you very much. And Mr. Burek,
I already gave the reasons why I will support this resolution.
thank you all. May I have a roll call, please?
Controller Prestipine?
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Vanessa. Our public defender, Attorney Larry Keith, is with us this morning. Larry, thank you for your patience.
You're welcome. Thank you. Good morning.
We appreciate your joining us. This is proposed resolution 58. And what it involves is a proposed elimination of one full-time assistant public defender position and the creation of 2 part-time assistant public defender positions, a salary of $30,000 each, and this would take effect on January 1 of 2024. My recollection is that when you met with us in executive session, that you calculated that this would be a savings to your budget, but I won't steal your thunder. I'll let you discuss it with us, please.
Well, what we've been able to do together over the years is we put together a public defender's office consisting of the best defense lawyers in our community. We've been able to attract them and retain them. This resolution will allow us to retain one of those lawyers and bring in another fantastic lawyer from the community. And in doing so, it'll save over $30,000 to the current budget. So I ask that you please accept this, and we do appreciate your support over the year. We really have put together a fantastic office.
Mr. Keith, I thank you for that, and I'll ask if one of the board members would care to make a motion for Resolution 58.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, David. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Spielvogel. Mr. Burek, do you have questions for the
Well,
public?
just to add to, he didn't actually read the resolution, I will, but the way it's saving money is there's one full-time public defender who wishes to revert to part-time status, and we're gonna eliminate one full-time assistant public defender, create 2 part-time assistant public defender positions at a salary of $30,000, but the savings comes from no benefits will be paid for the position. So I thank the public defender. I know he's an outstanding attorney, and he's doing a great job as our chief public defender.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Prestipine, no comments or questions? Commissioner Spielvogel.
I'll just concur with what Commissioner Buick stated.
Thank
you so much. We have a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. I will request a roll call, please.
Controller Prestipine?
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion
Thank
carries.
you so much. Larry, thank you for your
Thank
time
you.
today.
Thank you for your patience. Yes,
Thank you all.
You have a great day.
You too.
And our final, I'm sympathetic to Mr. Strobel, and I'll tell you why. We did this please come up, Chad. We did this alphabetically. My last name begins with letter V, so I don't know what it's like to be last. It happened a lot throughout my life, but
Thank you.
Same way with everything else.
some would argue that we've saved the best for last.
There you go.
Since everybody else left the room, I can say that.
Yeah.
This is proposed resolution 59. And I'm going to let you describe it to us, what it is you're proposing. But let me make something very, very clear. We've said this in prior public meetings, but what goes on in the public safety department has the potential to affect every single resident in this county. You heard from the warden today. Well, not everybody goes to jail. And you've heard from CYS. Well, not everyone needs the services of that office. But boy, there could come a time, and let's hope it never happens, there could come a time where every person in this county would need the services of the public safety office. That important. So, with that background, I'll turn it over to you. You do have a proposal for us, and I'll let you present it to us, please.
Yes, first off, thank you for the consideration in the audience here. I greatly appreciate it. As you said, the 911 center is vital to the community. It's the first point of contact for emergency services throughout the county, whether it be police, fire, EMS. Currently, our starting rate for a part-time or for a trainee in the 911 center is $13.20 an hour. That gets percentage increases as they complete their training, which is required by Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, up to around $16 an hour after a couple of years. My proposal would be to increase the starting wage for telecommunicator training to $16.50 an hour. Upon completion of their training, if they were to move the part-time position, they would be at $18.50 an hour. If they were to go full-time, they would be raised to $20.50 an hour with their increase of COLAs after that. Over the years, this is reflective as of March. I haven't updated. We've lost a couple more, but we've lost employees to other 911 centers, private industry, police departments, busing agencies, nursing homes. So we've lost, right now, we're about 20 employees over the last 5 years that we've lost to wage issues. We're having trouble getting them in. We're having trouble keeping them. And since we work very closely with our other counties and we share the same equipment, we're kind of a farm league to get them trained up, and then they move to where the wages will reflect the dedication they put into training. Right now, their current range costs about $7,500 to $7,600 to train a new employee, and the overtime we pay to our supervisors and other staff to train that class, it's about $12,000. So roughly, $20,000 to get somebody moving on the way, and then they leave. So we hope this would increase our ability to want to attract future telecommunicators and to also retain them and show some gratitude for their continued service.
For us to discuss and ask questions, I'd like to first see if there's a motion for proposed resolution 59.
I so move.
Thank you, Mr. Burek. Is there a second?
I will second.
Thank you, Loretta. Chad, we border in Pennsylvania 3 counties, Mercer, Butler, and Beaver. Beaver County is about twice our size in population. Butler County is more than twice our size. And if I recall, Mercer County has somewhere around 20,000 or maybe 25,000 more people than we do, give or take.
Yes.
And you heard us with a couple previous presenters this morning that we're at a competitive disadvantage even with those 3 counties for the most part. They're in a position where they are paying more. You commented about the private sector. I mean, there are convenience stores that are paying rates similar to what you just cited. But is it safe to say, to the best of your knowledge, that the three surrounding counties are paying higher amounts than what we're paying presently? To the best of your knowledge.
Yes, I had that here. All 3, Mercer County, Beaver County, and Butler County, are all paying more. Butler County, their current starting rate is $26.50 an hour for a full-timer. Mercer County is at $20.51 after a year of service, and Beaver County, with their cost of living, I believe they're going to be over $28 for a full-time employee starting an hour.
So there's what we're competing against.
Yes.
Thank you.
After a year, we're at about 16, 17 hours.
Okay, thank you very much, Chad. Commissioner Spielvogel, do you have questions or comments?
Just to comment that, again, like other offices, we have a difficult time, first of all, getting them, and second of all, retaining them, because it is, like Chad said, it's a training camp. Farm League, we train them, put in the hours, the investment, the money to do it, and other counties have the benefits of us doing that. So we need to do, again, with public safety, as with those other departments that we've discussed earlier, to make sure that we not only get good quality personnel, but that we keep them as well. So thank you for everything that you have done to try to do that. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you for coming to us. And I gladly support this.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. To mention, I apologize. We did have a 911 advisory board meeting last week, and
yes,
the staffers for Senator Mastriano and Booth both pointed towards there was going to be some increase in our 911 surcharge funding, which would offset any impacts that this gave to the county general fund.
Well, let's hope it happens. It may happen this week because they're in session.
They're in session,
Keep your fingers crossed.
yes.
Thank you both. Mr. Prestipine.
Just to clarify, I spoke to Chad the other day when we formulated this resolution. And there's a bottom sentence that we had to add on here. All the current employees are going to go to this scale. However, there are some employees that have been here long enough that they're already above this scale. Or with the 2024 COLA is going to put them above this scale. The intent is not to drop them to this scale, just to keep them where they're at. And that's what that last sentence under the end.
I thank you so much for noting that and for working with
Yes,
Mr. Strobel
thank you.
as far as that goes. Thank you, David, very much. Anything else, David?
No.
Mr. Burek.
I concur with all the comments that I said. I just want to thank Controller Prestipine and Director Strobel for all the work they put into this. I'm going to support this resolution. We need to recruit, retain, and compensate our employees at a level that's more fair and will help us to keep the people, like he said. People don't understand, you don't just go in the first day and answer 911 calls. You have to go through an extensive training program to be prepared to be a 911 telecommunicator. And I support the resolution. Public safety and 911 services are critical, as you mentioned, for all of us to have in the county. I support the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Burek. We have a motion on the floor that's been seconded. We've had the discussion. If there is no other discussion, I'll ask for the roll to be called.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes,
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes?
motion carries.
Thank you. Chad, much appreciation.
I appreciate you.
thank you.
I have a request to make of my colleagues on this board. I'd like to request that we go into executive session very briefly to discuss a personnel matter, and so as that we don't inconvenience the rest of you, there's a small office that I'd like to go back here to discuss. If you would be so willing to move that we go into executive session.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We're going to excuse ourselves. We will come back. We will take public comment, and then we will adjourn. So please be patient. This should not.
We're leaving, so you don't have to do anything.
you can stick around because we're not gonna be much
Right.
longer. May I have a motion, please, to come out of executive session?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of coming out of executive session, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign, motion carries. I will note that we did have discussion on personnel matters, however, it will not require us to take any formal votes on anything that we talked about. Before we adjourn, I will open the floor for public comment regarding salary board matters. Now, we will have a commissioners meeting in about 10 minutes where we can take public comment on all other county matters. But if anybody has a comment regarding the salary board, this would be the time to make such a comment. Are there any comments? Hearing none. Are there closing comments from my colleagues? Commissioner Spielvogel?
No.
Controller Prestifine? Nope. And Commissioner Burek?
No.
I will note for our visitors, we convened this meeting at 8:30 this morning. We did have the appropriate legal ad in the paper on Saturday advertising that the salary board would meet. State law requires that counties have what's known as a salary board. The 4 permanent members are the 3 commissioners and the county controller. And then when elected officials, such as the judge or any of the row officers, have matters to be brought before the salary board, they become temporary voting members of the board. So I know you came in a little bit late. So earlier in the meeting, for example, the district attorney had an issue and he became a 5th temporary member of the board. He voted on his particular issue. So and the salary board is responsible for creating or eliminating positions or changing the rate of pay of those positions. This board doesn't hire or promote or demote or relieve any one of their duties. We simply create positions and establish the salaries for those positions. So just a little bit of background. Thank you all for your help today and for keeping me where I needed to be. And Vanessa, thanks for all the input and work that you did.
You're welcome.
I will note that in about 10 minutes, we will convene the regular meeting of the Lawrence County Board of Commissioners. May I have an adjournment motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. The motion carries. The salary board is adjourned, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes. Dave, thanks for everything.
Thank you, Dave.